host of the Gridiron.
All right. If you give this video a thumbs up or maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge, right? What do you got to lose? It's totally free of charge. But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. If you want to help support my channel, description box below, very top link takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So once again, if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I would thank you in advance. Thank you. And then finally, just underneath that, there's another link. It takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 9,500 members in the group. It is doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I got internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. Well, all right. Well, finally, took just a little side note. It took 5 games, but we finally had a good football game. Oh my God! It's basically, first 4 games are just, I don't know. I don't want to call them straight up trash, but just almost, unless you're like a Raven fan, a Texan fan, right? But, it's just, some of it was just a little tough to watch. I mean, if you're a Bills fan, right? It's a great day, great weekend. Woo! But if you're like a football fan, enjoy a good contest and all of that and closeness and excitement and nail-biting finishes, well, this was not the weekend for you. It was just, finally we had one. So Washington, last-second field goal, a doinker that went in, not a double doinker, which, of course, helped the Eagles low-life, worthless piece of human trash that they are, win a football game. But this was the doinker that went through the uprights. And the Washington Commanders are on their way to Detroit because they're the lowest seeded team. Or they were 7th. I guess it was 7th. Whatever it was, they were lowest. They were the lowest seeds, maybe 6. They were lowest seeded team. So after this weekend's over, because the game tomorrow night, you got the Vikings, who are 5, I believe it. Vikings are 5, and the Rams are 4. So the winner of that game is going to go to Philadelphia. So so what are they, 6th? They were 6th. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, the Commanders were 6th. The Packers were 7th. So the Commanders were 6th. So the Commanders won. So the Commanders are the lowest seeded team after this weekend's over with, because the Packers were eliminated. So the Commanders, the lowest seeded, they're going to play. So it's going to be the Commanders are going to go to Detroit, right? And then whoever winds up winning, the thing is like what the Eagles will have the advantage of is that they play on grass and they play outdoors. Both those teams, you got indoors. Minnesota, if this was back, obviously back in the 70s when football was, to me, I'm an old fart, so please forgive me. When football was football in Minnesota, they played outside because football is supposed to be played outside. Once again, I'm an old fart, so please forgive me. Not in dome stadiums, not on pretty turf and all that. No, it's supposed to be played on the dirt and the grass and outside. In the elements, that's football. But the problem is with the Rams, and the Vikings, they're both indoor teams that play on turf. Now they're going to have to go to play in Philly, and next weekend the game's supposed to be. Let's see, I'm about 25 minutes from Philly, so let me see here real fast. Let me get my Weather Channel app out here. So next Sunday, what is today? The 12th. So next Sunday would be the 19th. So let's go here. As of right now, the Weather Channel app. here in South Jersey. I must say, once again, about 25 minutes from Philadelphia. That's supposed to be 41. Okay, so well, then again, I don't know. They could be playing Saturday, Sunday, so I don't know. But looks like Saturday and Sunday's night looks like high in the 40s if they're playing during the daytime. They're playing maybe the 1 o'clock, or if there's an 8 o'clock. If there's an 8 o'clock game, it's going to drop down to 30, and it might get like a little bit of a rain mixture or something like that. Saturday night could have occasional rain and drop down to, showers in the evening could drop down into the 30s. So, Sunday night, it could drop down into the 20s. So that's an early thing. Very, very early. But, regardless, whoever goes and plays in Philadelphia, those two teams are indoor teams, and they're going to go play the Eagles on the outside. So advantage Eagles. But it was a good game. Good game. Good, exciting game. I mean the Commanders and the Bucks. What was it? Mayfield had a bad turnover that led to 7 points for the to the Commanders, which really helped turn the game around. But anyway, it is what it is. But I saw this one thing. I can't remember who did it, but they looked it up, and it was unbelievable. It was just like mind blowing, right? Really, really mind blowing. If all the teams, and I'm gonna play this. There's a video. I'm gonna play it, and if all the teams, their records, 1-loss record and 1-score games were reversed. Now the Giants were 1-8 in 1-score games this year. Reverse that, the Giants would have been 10-7. Okay, the Giants would have won a division. Eagles would have been second, I think. I'm going to play the video, and the Eagles would have been 9-8. Which just goes to show you the importance of winning those close games. Now, it's a very tough thing to keep doing, just to get 1-score games. Yeah, we'll just keep winning them. It's a very difficult thing to do. It's not, obviously, no kid, as we saw with the Giants this year. But it was just kind of a little mind blowing. Like if I don't know what the Commanders or what the Cowboys 1-score record was, but once again, if you reverse them, so I'm going to play this here. And he goes from like each division here. Let's see if it loads once again here. Okay, so the guy's talking. Okay, so if every 1-score NFL game was reversed, a lot of divisions. Let me tell you what, obviously the winners would have changed quite a bit. The AFC North, the Bengals would have won, would have had a record of 12-5. They were actually 9-8, but they would have won. The Jacksonville Jaguars would have been 11-6. The Texans would have been 7-10. Jaguars would have won a division. So you would have had the Bengals win a division. The Jaguars would have won a division. The Bills still would have won, would have been 11-6, but the Jets would have been 9-8. AFC West, the Broncos would have been 15-2. I'm sorry, I'm spitting my peanuts out here. The Kansas City Chiefs would have been 5-12. The NFC North, the Packers would have won. They would have been 15-2. The Lions would have been 10-7. The Vikings wouldn't even made the playoffs. They would have been 6-11. The Bears would have been 9-8. What else we got here? The NFC South, the Bucks would have won. They would have been 12-5. New Orleans would have been 9-8. The Panthers would have been 4. That one pretty much stayed about the same. That's rather remarkable. I mean, the Saints were 5-12. They would have been 9-8. But the Falcons were 8-9, and they would have been 8-9. And the same thing with the Panthers. The Panthers would have been 4-13, but they were 5-12. So that one, the Bucks still would have won the division. But this one here, we got 2 more to go. I'm not sure if the East comes next. Okay, the East. So the Giants were 3-14. If the Giants had won all their 1-score games, now let's go over that real fast here. 2024, the Giants would have been 10-7. Oh, I'm sorry, the Eagles would have been 8-9. The Commanders would have been 8-9. The Cowboys would have been 7-10. See, the Eagles won their 1-score game. They found ways to win, right? Well, because they have a very good team and they were healthy too. That's 2 huge things. but they found ways to win those one-score games, and they were 14-3. Actually, guess what? 15-3 after today's win. But if you were to reverse that, as I said, I don't know what their record was in one-score games, but they would have been 8-9. They wouldn't even had a winning record. They wouldn't even made the playoffs. The Giants would have won. The Giants would have been 10-7. Now, Giants won one game. Giants won one. Let's see here. It was the Brown game, 21-15, right? But so that's their one win, right? But if we go here, they lost 8 one-score games. They lost to the Commanders 21-18. They lost to the Cowboys 20-15. They beat the Seahawks 29-20. That wasn't a one-score game now. Had they not blocked that extra that field goal, right? Had Simmons not blocked the field goal and Bryce Ford Wheat not run it back, that would have been a one-score game, right? But it wound up being a two-score game. So they lost to the Bengals. Then they got killed by the Eagles. Then they lost to the Steelers by 8 points. They lost to the Commanders by 5 points. They lost to the Panthers by 3 points. Then they lost to the Cowboys by 7 points. So that's 6 losses. They lost to the Saints, right? Remember the blocked field goal? So that's their 7th. And then they lost the final game of the season to the Eagles. So the Giants were 1-8 in one-score games. Now, as I said, you make the Giants 8-1 instead of 1-8. Make them 8-1 in one-score games, and they would have a record of 10-7, and they would have won the NFC East. I mean, what? Pretty mind-boggling, huh? But if we go back, right? You know, to have a lot of games, even when as bad as the New York Football Giants are, you see, I mean, as bad as they were, they had a lot of one-score games. More than half their games were one-score games. They had 9 of them out of 17 games, and another one, they beat the Seahawks by 9 points, almost and if they didn't block the field goal, that would have been a one-score game. Right, because they would either if the Seahawks had missed the field goal, it would have been a one-score game. If the Seahawks made the field goal, it would have gone to overtime, and then it would have been a one-score game. Right, so the Giants, more than half their games were 3-14, total trash, total this, total that, absolute garbage. Blow the team up, sell the team, get rid of, move out of there, whatever. More than half their games were one-score games. Right, I said reverse that, the Giants would be 10-7. But so if we go back to their, the 2020, I was going to say 1922 season, the 2022 season, right? What did they have success with? The one-score games, right? They were 9-7-1. Had a lot of one-score games. Holy cow! Let me find them here. Okay, 2022. I think they had 13 of them. I think it was. Okay, remember when they beat the Titans? So I'm just going to count off the one-score games that they had. Right? They beat the Titans 21-20. They beat the Panthers 19-16. Then they lost to the Cowboys 23-16. Then they beat the Bears 20-12. Then they beat the Packers 27-22. Then they beat the Ravens 24-20. Then they beat the Jaguars 23-17. So their first 7 games were all one-score games. They lost to the Seahawks by 14 points. Okay, then they beat the Texans 24-16. Then they lost to the Lions. They got whooped up on by the Lions, but then they lost to the Cowboys 28-20. They tied the Commanders, right? 20-20. Then they beat the Commanders 20-12. So that's 11. Then they lost to the Vikings 27-24. Then they lost their last game of the season to the Eagles 22-16. So 13 of their 17 regular season games. Now, if you want, you go to the playoffs, right? Would have been the first game. Okay, the Vikings. Or if you want to add the Eagle one in there too. So the Giants had 14, if you however you want to look at it. right? 13 out of their 17 regular season games, I mean, one-score games. I think the Giants were 8-4-1. I think in those one-score games. You have a winning record, in those one-score games, you give yourself a chance. But if you want to go throughout their whole season, 14, including the playoffs, 14 out of their 19 games were one-score games. And 14 out of 19, and so they were 9-4-1, I think it was, in all their one-score games. They had 14 one-score games. They were 9-4-1. Somehow, with no salary cap, right? With not a great team, we couldn't even keep Bradbury because we had no salary cap space. We had to give him away, right? We didn't have tons of offensive weapons. We had Daniel Jones, we had Saquon Barkley. Right, we had a new coach. We had no salary cap, no money to spend, and somehow we found ways to win. We were 9-4-1 in those one-score games. Add that up, the Giants, wound up being, going to the playoffs, won a playoff road game, and of course, got blown out by the Eagles. But this season, just rather mind-boggling. If and then let me finish this up here. Is this here? Okay, and then let me see so the Giants would have won the East, but okay, in the West, who would have won? I forgot. I mean, it just goes to show you how crazy it was. The Giants could have. I guess maybe I don't know. Maybe I missed the West. I don't know. But anyway, I mean, it just goes to show you how absolutely crazy that is. Yeah, it goes to show you. Obviously. Not so much. Also, two things. One, the importance of finding ways to win, especially those one-score games. But also, even as bad as the Giants are, ain't no doubt about that, right? More than half their games, be it 9, but 9 out of their 17 games were one-score games, and they were 1-8 in those one-score games. I mean, that just goes to show you. I mean, everybody's making fun of Shane and this and that and all of that. He said we're very close, and to be fair, they are. But I mean, I said if you switch that around, it made the Giants 8-1. The Giants would have won the division. I'm sorry. If you switched all the teams' one-score games, their records around, the Giants would have won the division at 10-7, and none of the other teams. I think the Cowboys and the Eagles would have finished 8-9. No other team in the division would have had a winning record. So it just goes to show you. Hey, I mean, Giants, obviously one thing that helps winning is, not to sound too stupid, but winning, right? You win. You give yourself confidence. You find ways to do it, right? You get down to that final couple minutes or whatever, and it's like, we did this last 3 weeks in a row. We found the way to win. It's 2 minutes to go. We're down by 2 points. We just need a field goal. We got the ball. We're going to do this. Why? Because we did it. We got this. We know we can do it. We've done it. We've done it 3 weeks in a row. We got, confidence. That's huge, right? Finding ways to win, right? Unfortunately for the Giants have been just finding ways to lose. So, but I saw that. That's one thing I love about being a part of like so many Facebook groups. So many different things pop up because people look at all kinds of stats and stuff like that, and stuff I never would have thought of. But I saw that. I'm like, damn, wow, that's pretty crazy. So the Giants, once again, I mean, the Giants, we need a lot of help. But you can say the Giants won a lot of games. But they got to find ways to win. It's just kind of odd because their first season, they found ways to win. They was all pumped up and stuff like that. Like, man, we got the coach and all that stuff and everything. It's just been going down in the dumper ever since.